Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. For today's review, we're going to take a look at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man 2-pack, Spider-Man and Mary Jane, which is a Toys R Us exclusive. So let's have a look at the packaging first. So in the front you've got the window, so you can see the figures inside. Very standard Marvel Legends style packaging. And on this side you've got a artwork of Mary Jane. On the back you've got close-up shots of the Spider-Man figure and Mary Jane and a little bit of information there. And on this side you've got artwork of Spider-Man or Peter Parker. And the window kind of wraps around to the top. Well, it doesn't wrap, but there's a little bit of a window in the top. And let's open up the box and have a look at the figures inside. And here are the figures out of the packaging. So with Mary Jane, you basically only get one accessory, and that is her purse. It's pretty nicely detailed, but the paint job isn't as nice as I would have liked to see. The gold buckle is not as sharp as it can be, but it's still quite nice, and it slips onto her body like so. And it sits there quite well. And it is interesting to note that this handbag is actually the same as the one we got on the Space Venom Hobgoblin, which is also the same as the one we got on the Sandman Green Goblin. So they're all carrying around the same purses, which is cool. And for Spider-Man, he comes with a masked head, which has the green glow around the eyes. He comes with a pair of the open palm hands, and also a pair of the web slinging hands, and one of them is already on the figure from the packaging, and one pair of the closed fist hands. So these are all hands that we've seen before from the Peter Spider-Man figure. The one accessory that is new here is of course the unmasked Peter Parker head, and I don't think we've seen an adult version of the unmasked Peter Parker head in the Marvel Legends line yet, so this one is quite nice. Nicely painted, nicely sculpted. And here is a closer look at Mary Jane. So her face is really nicely painted. She's even got freckles painted on her cheeks, which is really nice. Her eyes are quite nice. The sculpting of the face is quite nice as well. And I actually thought it looked kind of familiar, and I think it may be from the Silk face sculpt. I mean, the nose looks pretty much the same, but the paint application is very different, so I could be wrong, but I think it's from the Silk figure. And you can actually put the Silk head on Mary Jane. It does fit very nicely. And then, yeah, even the skin tone matches quite well. And back to Mary Jane. So she has a black tank top, but it is a little bit blotchy on mine. On the front it looks like there's been a bit of a patch job, because you got some glossy bits, and then this bit in the front is a little bit matte. And moving down to her pants, very nicely sculpted jeans. You can see she has shading on her jeans on the front, but again it's a little bit blotchy. You can see the color isn't fading in very well, so it's not as nice as the Cyclops 2-pack in terms of the shading, but you can see Hasbro did try. And then nice creases on her knee area and on her ankles, and nice sculpting on the butt, but on the butt there is no shading or wash at all, so it's just plain plastic. And here's a closer look at the Spider-Man figure. The first thing you might notice is the head sculpt is quite nice, but on my example, this side of the hair is kind of lifting, so it looks like he's wearing a toupee. I'm not sure if I can put a bit more glue down there and close it up, but it is a little bit gappy. But apart from that, the head sculpt is really nice. Sculpting on the hair is nice as well. And the rest of the body is pretty much what you've seen before with the Peter Spider-Man, but there are a few little issues on my figure. So you can see there's a lot of paint chips on the shoulder here. so that's not terribly great. And there's paint chips on the body here. And I'll just bring in the Space Venom Peter Parker head for comparison. So you can see they do look like each other, but it's a completely different sculpt, and the size difference is quite massive. And he does come with the optional masked head. And here is the masked head. And it looks pretty nice. Not sure about the green glow around the eyes and even around the Spider-Man emblem. Not a big fan of that. But the rest of the body looks good. It is obviously a remold of the Peter Spidey. So you've got basically the same parts, but just in a different paint deco. The patterns on the suit are slightly different from the Peter Spidey. You can see there's difference in the torso area, and also the emblem's completely different. The head sculpt is actually different as well. You can see the Peter Spidey has much bigger eyes. And moving down to the legs, you can see the deco is different again. Just show you the back emblem as well. It's different design to the Peter Spidey again. And if you did want to, you could actually put the half unmasked Peter Spidey head on the 2-pack Spider-Man. It fits perfectly. And you can also put the unmasked Peter Parker head on the Peter Spidey, and it fits perfectly as well. And now for a look at articulation, starting with Mary Jane. She can't really look up very far because of her hair, and she can look down about that far, but then her hair kind of sticks out to the back, which is a bit weird. And she can turn from side to side. Her hair kind of just pushes out of the way, so that's not too bad. And with her shoulders, she can lift up her arms that far and down that far. No bicep swivel, but it can go all the way around the shoulders. Single jointed elbow, and she does have some rotation at the elbows as well. Pin and hinge for the wrist, so rotation and in and out. And then she has a diaphragm joint, which allows her to kind of rock her upper body all the way around, so she gets side to side. This much of a crunch forward and this much of a stretch backwards. And there's no waist swivel because this is all one piece. And for her legs, she has ball jointed hips, so she can do that much of a split. She can kick forward that far and kick back that far. And she has thigh swivels, so all the way around. Double jointed knees, which gives her a very nice bend. And for her ankles, she can tilt down that much, up that much, and pivot from side to side. And for Spider-Man, he can look up that far and down that far. And he can rotate his head, and also a little bit of tilting from side to side. With his shoulders, he's got that butterfly joint, so it allows him to go forward and back like that. I have heard stories about the peg being broken, so just be careful with your Spider-Man if it's a little bit stuck out of the packaging. Just heat it up with some hot water or hairdryer. And with her shoulders, he can lift up his arms that far, down that far, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, gives him a really nice bend. Probably go a little bit deeper, yep, really nice bend. And he has pin and hinge for the wrist, so rotation and then in and out for that signature Spider-Man pose, I mean. And with the ab crunch, he can crunch forward that far and stretch back that far. And rotation at the hips, at the waist. And with his legs, he can stretch that far apart. He can kick forward that far and back to there. And he's got thigh rotation there all the way around, and double jointed knees for very nice bend. And then with his ankles, he can tilt down that far, up that far, and he's got ankle pivots. And now for some size comparisons. Here they are with Peter Spider-Man. Here they are with Space Venom Spider-Man. Here they are with Silk, Spider-Gwen, DC Icons Flash, SH Figuarts Son Goku, and finally Marvel Legends Cyclops. I'm really glad that Hasbro is starting to give us these awesome 2-packs again, and this set is definitely really nice to have. I think most people will be getting this set mainly for the Mary Jane figure, and she is a really nice figure. The face sculpt is really nice paint job, but there are some problems with her paint application, like on her shirt. Bit blotchy, and also the shading is not as nice as it could have been. The Spider-Man actually came out a lot nicer than I was expecting. I mean, I really like this light blue color, but this guy also has a few problems. There's a lot of untidy paint job, bit of paint scratching, extra blob of red paint there on his arm. Just be careful when you guys are picking out this set in the store. I had to kind of look through a few different sets to find the one that I really liked. And I have heard stories about the arms breaking, missing pegs in the leg, and just awful paint jobs on the Peter Parker head. So do be mindful of the QC issues with this set. Make sure you pick out a good one. And when you get home, make sure you check the figures for any missing pegs or broken joints. And that's it for my review of the Marvel Legends Spider-Man and Mary Jane 2-pack. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time for another toy review.